from Surrey Panorama.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. It's my pleasure today to rise and speak in favour of legislation being brought forward by the Minister of Jobs, Trade and Technology, Bill 42, Fuel Price Transparency Act. And I can say that on behalf of the residents of Surrey Panorama, I really appreciate the Minister bringing forward this piece of legislation, because we know that British Columbians, and especially those of us who live in the Lower Mainland, Surrey area, have been frustrated and confused about the changes in pricing that have been occurring at the pump. Quite a few months ago, when we know that the provincial tax went up by 1 cent, we watched prices in Surrey jump up by anywhere from 20 to 28 cents down one block of a highway. And that was really surprising, because nobody could understand how 1 cent extra in taxes could lead to such a huge jump at the pump. And of course, most of us, because for the last 16 years, such poor investment has been made in public transit, and those who live south of Fraser have been left out in the cold for transit investments. We rely on our vehicles to get to work, to visit family, to visit friends, more so than maybe downtown Vancouver. And so we notice the price of gas as we fill up our tanks. But what's more significant is the amazing things we're seeing at the pump, and this is where it has left the public confused. And I can say I have experienced some of that myself. So you start off, I'm going to use King George Highway as an example. I leave the hospital where I'm visiting my mum, and I can hit gas prices anywhere from $1.26 to $1.58 down that one piece of highway. A very short drive. Well, not really, because it's usually gridlocked in traffic. So you can go from one gas station to the next and see a difference sometimes of as much as 30 cents. And the public cannot understand that. And obviously, the BC Utilities Commission had some questions as well, but they didn't get the information they needed, the data they needed to make an informed ruling. So I think it is perfectly appropriate, and I'm so delighted that the Minister of Jobs, Trade and Technology has brought this forward so that we can begin to understand. I've heard a lot of histrionics from the other side, how the sky is going to fall if this bill passes, because somehow it's going to interfere with the free market in a way that's going to be detrimental. But really, what we're trying to do is understand. And if as a government, we're going to look for solutions, and how do we move forward, and the BC Utility Commission is going to look to see how to handle something, first you need the data. You need the information. But if oil companies are not providing the information, then I think it's perfectly appropriate and a responsible thing for the Minister to bring forward legislation that will give us that kind of transparency so we can start making informed decisions. None of us like paying high gas prices. All of us can remember when gas prices was in the 2 digits. And now, of course, it's very rare that you find gas under $1. And if you're in the Lower Mainland, you're going to find it a lot higher than that. But there is a huge discrepancy from pump to pump to pump. I'm not talking about different cities, Mr. Speaker, Madam Speaker. I'm talking about the same street in the same city. So I am really pleased to see this, and I look forward to getting this data, getting this information, so we can make come to an informed understanding of what is at play. That's what this is about. As any teacher would say, it's good to find out what the problem is before you start throwing out solutions. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you, Member. Recognizing